All right, here we got a 1964 Pontiac Tempest, and basically this is GTO. You know, that's what it is. But you know, if you wanted to get a cheaper GTO, you get a Tempest. An option it out with the bigger engine and stuff. So let's see what's inside this. It's got a two-tone interior. And I like these. Oh yeah, I got the 4-speed on there, 4 on the floor. The 3-spoke steering wheel. I can't open the door enough. You can't really see in there too good. But it's got, you know, I like that bench seat where they had that fold-down armrest, because you know you still put your arm on it, and if you got your girl in there, you got your. I love that bench seat. They don't make bench seats anymore. It's you always wanted a car with a bench seat back then, all the time, man. Now they're just not the way I want them, you know. This thing, 60-year-old car, styling kicks butt, doesn't it? Really. And I'm not sure if it came that way from the factory or not, but a lot of times you could get the convertible tops where that window in the back zips out. So you could zip out, not zips out all the way, but zips out so it folds down and goes into the well, right? Into that well right there, right? It goes right in there. So you zip that out and it folds down. It's still attached across the bottom. And then you roll down the windows and you just got this top and it just blows straight through. Like, it's like, you definitely don't need air conditioning, but it'll keep the sun off you. And even if you got like a light rain, it's fine. You know, because it just kind of blows straight through. I don't think that came like that from the factory, but I know like the aftermarket tops, you could get them with that zip down window. And again, this has got the radial TA Cooper Cobra. So they, you know, those are, you know, that's what they would have had back then pretty much. Or the red stripe tires. And 5-spoke rims were pretty common, so these are like, these are probably factory with the chrome rings on it and stuff. Again, you got your vent wing window, which I love those. This is basically a GTO. You know, when they badge it a GTO, they just jack the price up a lot, man. That's what happens. I don't know what's in it. It could be a 326, could be a 389. You know, a 326 was still, that would move. You built it up just a little bit. I had a friend of mine. His father owned a garage, and he was like a mechanic. Like, so he's like 17 or 18 in high school. He had a 326 Pontiac Tempest, and he burned rubber like 100 feet with that thing, no problem. I should also mention, you know, when you're seeing these statistics on these cars that they did so much in a quarter mile, and you're thinking it's a 14-second car, and then you're seeing like the very, very fastest cars are in the high 13s. You know why they're getting that kind of time? It's because they're using the stock bias ply skinny tires. If they just put different, if they put cheater slicks on the back or something, or a wider tire in the back, those times would drop way down. And you know, the thing is, when they're telling you the horsepower is, yeah, I know they're saying it's gross horsepower, but not with accessories. And I know they made them net horsepower, I think in 72. So everything today is net horsepower. But the thing is, nobody had a stock car practically back then. Pretty much the standard thing was carburetor, Holley carburetor with a aluminum high-rise intake, headers, and a cam. That, you know, I mean, a lot of people didn't do the pistons and stuff because that got a lot more involved. But the thing is, you know, people were like, you know, you're saying the car had 270 horsepower or something like that. That car would have like well over 350 horsepower by the time somebody got done with it. That was common. And it was like, it was done a lot because it wasn't that much money, and people weren't checking emissions or nothing like. Well, there was no emissions on these cars, really. The only thing they had was a PCV valve. So, you know, the cars that were roaming around back then, oh yeah, the other thing was the exhaust. The exhaust would give you more power, and everybody had wider tires on it. So, you know, on YouTube, they're always showing you these cars that are like stock, and this is what it did. None of those cars were stock back then. None of them. None of them. So it was like the muscle car era wasn't just from the factory. It was from the people that got those cars after that. And a lot of times you would see a 6-cylinder car become like, Chevy, it's a 6-cylinder Chevy. It'd be a 327 in it that puts out 375 horsepower with a Muncie trans and stuff like that. They'd be doing stuff like that all over the place. Everything was getting swapped out. People were doing it in their garages, and no professional mechanics. So that's why the muscle car era, it wasn't just factory. It was the individuals. And it's like I know a lot of younger people, they rag on the boomer generation, but the boomer generation were out there getting their hands dirty, man. In their younger days, most of them were really, really radical and wild. Those are probably the dead ones. You're probably seeing the tamer ones today for the most part. The more radical ones probably died a long time ago, because I think almost 25% of the people born in my year, they're dead now. They're probably the bigger risk takers, which I'm fairly much on risk taking, but I try to do it with a calculated way. But just to give you a little more info on back in the day, the muscle car era just wasn't from the factory. The factory was basically following what the crowd was doing on their own. The hot rodders made the factory. The factory styling, even in the 50s, was coming from the custom builders. That's even the same thing with the Harley Davidson styling that changed basically when after AMF, or even during AMF, same thing. So today everybody's got to buy something from the factory. You got to make it yourself. That's what changed the corporate dunderheads.